Tony Fauci is a criminal psychopath and should spend the rest of his life in a federal prison. Joe Biden is an illegitimate president, should be impeached on the first day of the next Congress. That's really the only two things I came here to say. But I want to talk about a few other things. I'm a state representative here in Florida. I'm usually called the most conservative member in the Florida legislature. But in some ways, I'm the least conservative because I'm not trying to conserve this insanity that we have in this country today, trying to destroy it. I think the Republican Party needs to go on offense and quit playing defense all the time. And it just infuriates me because what happens is these Republicans, these elected Republicans, cannot get outside of the language of defense. They're always on defense. And right here in the supposed free state of Florida, the COVID tyranny continues. It is still continuing to this day. In Orange County, I'm from Lake County, next door to Orange County, they still have a school mask mandate. Do you know this? It's completely insane what's happening. It's a lie. You're being lied to. You're being misled by these rhino elected Republicans that are telling you need to pat them on the back because they do one or two little conservative things. They are doing almost nothing. We need to be expecting 10 times more out of our Republican officials. 10 times more. Especially at the state level. Now, most people aren't paying attention to state politics. They're watching Fox News. They're looking at what's happening in D.C. And the Republicans, by the way, they love that. They love it when you're talking more about Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi than the Republicans. Because then they know that you're not holding them accountable. And you're not watching their record. And you're not watching what they're doing and what they're saying. And let me tell you, these red states like Florida, they're using 1/10 of the power they have. 1/10 of the power they have. The biggest issue we're having right now is these coward Republicans that won't stand up to the woke corporations in this country. Now, I'm not talking about small businesses. I'm talking about the big, global, hegemonic companies that want to completely and destroy the little guy, destroy the small business owners, destroy the middle class in this country. People ask me all the time, because I use the phrase America First, what does America First mean? For me, America First means stopping the systematic destruction of the middle class. This country will only be great when we have a large, flourishing, free, independent-minded middle class. Let me tell you, the middle class is being destroyed, and it's happening on Republican watch because they're bought off by the Chamber of Commerce and these big hegemonic companies. Right now, these big companies, the next thing they're trying to do are these insane woke corporate mandates because they want to bend the knee to the left in the media and do whatever they say. And it's Republicans that are standing in the way of my bill, House Bill 75, which would ban every private sector vaccine mandate here in the state of Florida. Now, our good governor, I've been beating the drum for 4 months in the state of Florida. We need an emergency legislative session to end the COVID tyranny, ban all COVID nonsense, private and public threats to our liberty. But right now, a lot of these coward rhinos in the legislature are standing in the way. The governor's calling the session. I have a bill to do it. But the Republicans in the state legislature refuse to weigh in on this issue because their masters at the Chamber of Commerce, the Florida Chamber of Commerce, have them on a short leash. And they're told that they're not supposed to stand up to what the private sector does. And let me tell you, this is the biggest issue we're having right now. These Republicans don't understand that the threats to liberty are coming from the private sector. You'll hear Republicans talk about critical race theory in schools, and absolutely, we need to ban it in schools. The fact that we haven't done it already blows my mind. But the truth is, critical race theory is also being instituted in the workplace. Walmart and these big companies are going to be making critical race theory a matter of fact in the workplace, in their HR manuals, in their employee training guides. Are these Republicans we have elected now willing to stand up to those big companies and ban CRT in the workplace, ban social media censorship, ban private sector vaccine mandates? The answer right now is no. But the answer to fix it, how do you fix it, is very clear and very simple. We need primaries. Primaries against all of these rhinos Republicans, and we need to drum them out of office. There's some really good guys here speaking. Drew, we got Martin here. They're running against some of the biggest rhinos in the entire federal legislature, but at the state level, we got them too. We need absolute primaries. Primaries. It's time to eliminate them from the party. Now, let me tell you, people always say, why do the Democrats always stick together and the Republicans always break apart in terms of the elected officials? It's because the left fears their own base. They fear their own voters. They will never cross their own voters because they know they'll be thrown out of office immediately. These elected Republicans don't fear us. It's time to start making these elected Republican politicians fear us. Yes, I'm telling you, they have to fear us. No more patting them on the back every time they do something right. Oh, they did a lockdown for only 2 months. We need to pat them on the back. They only allowed these people to do mask mandates. We need to pat them on the back. They cut woke Disney's corporate tax rate 1% last year. We need to pat them on the back. We do not need to be patting them on the back. You need to be kicking them in the ass and telling them they need to be fighting harder for us. Right now in the state of Florida, I have filed some really important gun legislation. It is the Second Amendment that's going to save this country. People are looking at what's happening in Australia, and they say to me, oh, gee, Anthony, I really hope we don't get to Australia one day. Folks, we're already there. We're already at Australia. That's where we are. If we didn't have federalism, what they're doing in Australia would have came down from the top. And thank God we have some semblance of state power left in this country. But we're already there. It's the Second Amendment that is going to save us. The Second Amendment has absolutely nothing to do with hunting or targetry. Nothing. Literally nothing. Go back to the constitutional record. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with fighting back against a sick and tyrannical federal government wants to usurp your rights and harm you. That's what it's for. And it's time to expand the Second Amendment. That's why here in the state of Florida, I have filed constitutional carry, a bill that says you do not need a permit to carry a firearm for your own self-defense. And I've also filed a bill to repeal these sick and twisted red flag laws here in the state of Florida. Let me tell you what these red flags laws really are. It's the perversion of the Constitution. It's the idea that a government entity can strip you of your rights without, not even, by the way, not even charging you with a crime, much less actually finding you guilty of a crime, but not even charging you of a crime. They can come and strip your rights, okay? They can say, oh, you know, this person seems a little crazy. They said something about, you know, Biden not being the legitimate president, which he's not. And so what they'll do is they can say, okay, well, I'm going to issue an order to come take all those persons' firearms away. Republicans in the state of Florida have passed this bill, okay? So it's time to start finding out who those people are and primarying them and throwing them out of office and getting rid of this gun control in the state of Florida, because it's going to be what saves this country, if you ask me. I'm just being very honest. I'll post a list. Find me on either Getter, Telegram, Facebook, Twitter, and I'll post it tomorrow. Yeah, they're going to be mad at me. I have really kicked the beehive in Tallahassee. I will tell you, they really hate me. I will tell you, the Republicans, this is one of the funny things. They act like they hate the Democrats and the left so much. They love the left because the left makes them feel like they're these tough conservatives, right? So like when AOC comes around and she says, oh, we're going to do the Green New Deal or whatever, these jellyfish and vertebrate rhino Republicans get to say, well, I'm a tough conservative, right? That's a liberal, I'm a conservative. Well, when a real America First conservative stands next to them, it embarrasses them, right? It exposes them, and they get really mad. And I will tell you, they will do everything they can to destroy a conservative elected official because they don't like being exposed. They don't like looking like the impotent jellyfish Republicans that most of them are. And that's a problem. That's a problem. So it's time to start growing our numbers, growing our ranks. Now, I want to talk a little bit about election integrity and the audit. I think we need a 50-state audit. For months now, I've talked to people about the audit, and the most simple way to explain it is there's a lot of reasons to do the audit. There's a whole bunch of reasons. There's no reason not to do an audit. There's literally not one reason not to audit. Why wouldn't you just double check your election system? You got to imagine, even the people on the left are probably curious where some of the fraud was that they might not know about. And so it's like there's all these reasons to do it. There's all these issues with our election system. The biggest, in my opinion, being the voter rolls, which are completely inaccurate. So I filed here in the state of Florida House Bill 99, which would audit this previous election in 2020 in the state of Florida. And it's really a lot of the Republicans that are afraid of it, right? Because they're rhinos. The rhinos are afraid of being attacked by the media. That's what they're afraid of. They're beholden to the media. They know that if they commence an audit, that they're going to be called mean names by the media and by the special interests, and that they're going to get funny looks at the wine and cheese, events that they have with their country club buddies, and be called mean names and conspiracy this, conspiracy that. And that's what they really fear. Like I said before, it's time to start making them fear us more than they do the media. That's when they're going to start doing what we want them to do. So a lot of that is why I'm running for Congress. I'm running for Congress in District 7, Central Florida, North Orlando. I'm really, really honored to be endorsed by some of the strongest America First leaders in this country, including General Flynn. And also Senator Rand Paul, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, and a host of other really strong conservatives. So I'd be honored if you guys checked out my website, SabatiniForCongress.com. I will post that list. And I will keep you guys informed of what's happening on the state level right now in this supposed free state of Florida. And I will keep you up to date on what we need to do in D.C. The 3 things I'm going to do the first day I'm in D.C. Number 1, file a bill to make sure that criminal psychopath Tony Fauci can never be employed by the federal government again. Number 2, co-sponsor Marjorie Taylor Greene's 3 articles of impeachment against Joe Biden. And number 3, second the motion to appoint and to move to make Donald Trump the next Speaker of the House. I think he'd be a great Speaker of the U.S. House. That's just me. I think he'd be awesome. Once again, I'm Anthony Sabatini. God bless you. Thank you guys for having me.